Podcast, the show where we talk about creativity, introversion, and how to stay wildly functional in a distracted world. I'm your host slash friendly neighborhood extraterrestrial, Andrew Fultz, and in this episode, I'm going to talk about how I learned to run in barefoot shoes and what it taught me about the unnatural bullshit that's all around us. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you on the other side. April 2017. I tried on 200 running shoes and I didn't like any of them, which was weird because they all looked so comfy. They were like puppies scrambling over each other, yipping, "Pick me, pick me." I guess I should tell you why I was trying on shoes. I had just landed some part-time hours at a local running store and the managers wanted me to play Cinderella. I was supposed to get a feel for the shoes and find my favorite, but also memorize the features. Terms like motion control and EVA and dynamic stability and pronation and stack height whizzed by me. It was all very exotic. Finally, I picked up a shoe called the New Balance 1400. This was my Benny Rodriguez PF Flyers moment. This was the shoe for me. It was super light, super fast, and super responsive. At the end of the shift, I practically danced out the door with a pair of size 10s, but a little voice in the back of my head kept wondering, out of all of these fancy shoes, why did I pick the one with the least cushion and the fewest features? In high school track, I ran a 4:37 in the mile, which is respectable but not earth-shattering. It drove my coach crazy though because I clearly had talent despite my habit of ditching training runs to go home and play Xbox. College track didn't go much better. I quit within the first week, which kicked off a 7-year dry spell punctuated by the occasional treadmill workout. Honestly, I thought I hated running, but training solo with my 1400s turned out to be the change that my introvert brain needed. With all the coaches, meetings, and training plans gone, I started to fall in love with running. The only problem was running didn't love me back. After a month of running every day, the injuries started to pile up. I'd go from shin splints to knee pain to plantar fasciitis, and every time I solved one injury, another would pop up. My first thought was to run in the opposite direction. Not literally, but by wearing a super cushion brand of shoes called Hoka. The Bondi was like a giant curved marshmallow, and I thought for sure that would protect my legs from the hard pavement. It sort of did, but at a price. I traded knee pain for hip pain, and running was starting to feel like a nightmarish game of whack-a-mole. My last line of defense was a brand called Ultra. They make zero drop shoes, which is a fancy way of saying that the platform is flat. I had to change my running stride from a heel strike to a mid-foot strike, which took a couple months, but I was definitely feeling better. Still, after less than 200 miles, I started getting plantar fasciitis again. My shoes just felt mushy. It was like one of those dreams where you're trying to run, but your legs are stuck in a swamp. I kept thinking, if cushion is good for me, why does it hurt so much? While all this foot drama was going on, I happened to run into a shoe brand called Vivo Barefoot. Their store was full of wild-looking footwear that was so thin it would literally roll into a ball. I bought a pair of Primus SGs and took them out for a trail run. It was awful at first. I got horrible blisters all over my feet, but there was something intriguing about running barefoot. I could feel the ground for the first time, and running became sort of like a communion with the earth. It was like my feet were learning to speak a language after being deaf for 25 years. I bought a different pair of Vivos for the road, which were even thinner. It was only 3 millimeters on the outsole. The blisters returned with a vengeance, but I was determined not to give up. Sure enough, after 4 months or so, my feet stopped hurting and I grew this nice soft layer of callus. I had basically turned into a hobbit. A very speedy hobbit, I might add, because I was running 20-minute 5Ks 5 times a week with zero injuries. It was like cushion had kept my feet fumbling around in the dark, and now that they could feel the ground, they knew exactly what to do to keep me healthy. I've now been running in barefoot shoes for 2 years and 1,500 miles with no injuries whatsoever. I don't dread my runs anymore. I look forward to them. They're less like work and more like a conversation with a close friend. Looking back, I can see why there aren't more barefoot brands, though. It's not that people wouldn't buy barefoot shoes, it's that barefoot shoes are not profitable. Think about it. The average cushioned running shoe costs $130 and breaks down in around 500 miles. A lot of them break down sooner. My Vivo barefoot shoes cost $130 also and are still in near perfect condition at 1,500 miles. I expect at least another 1,000 miles. It's crazy. The whole running industry is based on a lie that allows stores and brands to charge 5 times as much for a product that injures runners and requires them to buy even more products like inserts and braces, etc. The story isn't a takedown of the running industry or capitalism in general. Everyone needs to make a living, and changing a business model can be difficult, if not completely suicidal. That's why the change needs to start with you. So let's talk about 3 ways to spot unnatural bullshit so you can avoid harmful products and pressure companies to carry natural alternatives. Number 1, buying more. As consumers, we're trained to think more is better, but more is usually bullshit. You don't need a bigger house, you don't need a more expensive car, and you definitely don't need a more cushioned running shoe. In fact, the more you chase more, the more addicted to more you will become. Less is sustainable, less is always free. Number 2, adding comfort. The word comfort is actually just a synonym for more. Companies want to make you comfortable because when you're comfortable, you become lazy, you become easy to manipulate. Picture the movie WALL-E, obese humans floating around in chairs that feed them soda and tell them what to think and feel. That's where comfort leads. So stop buying comfort and start building strength. Number 3, fancy words. The running store I work at recently got a shiny new foot scanner that sells 3D printed shoe inserts. The company's tagline is turning math, science, and technology into comfort. Ooh, math, science, technology must be good, right? The truth is, not only is their foot scanning machine completely inaccurate, they don't have a single shred of third-party research to back up their product. It's just marketing bullshit designed to wow gullible customers. So here's how you can take action with all of this. Take a look at the products you buy on a regular basis and ask yourself, is there a natural alternative? The transition could take some time, so be willing to test out a new product for a few months and see what happens. Tangible results should be the only factor that influences your decisions. If you give something an honest shot and it doesn't work, just ditch it. So, do you see any bullshit in your life right now? Is there anything that seems kind of unnatural or just straight up doesn't work? Let me know in the comments on Medium. You can find a link to this article in the description below. And as for my bullshit, I'm experimenting with replacing artificial whey protein with nuts and other types of natural protein. We'll see how it goes and I'll keep you updated. Stay natural, my friends, and I'll catch you next time.